In my restless dreams, I see that town, except there's a lot more Japanese people than I remember. Silent Hill's back with a new full original game in 13 years, developed by Neil Bard, who dared ask the question what if Silent Hill took place nowhere near Silent Hill. I'm talking on a completely different continent. Was this shake-up exactly what the series needed, or does it deserve to be stuck in its own personal hell? Let's find out. Silent Hill follows the story of a schoolgirl, Hinako Shizumi, as she tries to escape from her fog-infested hometown in the 60s. Everyone has disappeared from the mountain town and been replaced with monsters, except for her best friends. Will they escape or will the fog consume them? That's it for the setup. You get a cutscene at the start, and then Hinako walks out to her home, and boom, immediately Silent Hill shenanigans. I will talk about the story and characters later in the video, because I imagine I'm going to have a lot to say. For now, let's talk about the gameplay. First off, you can pick combat and puzzle difficulty separately, like in some of the old games, which is fantastic. So if you like hard puzzles but can't handle the combat, you can slide the combat down and still have difficult puzzles. I put both difficulties on hard because I played all the other Silent Hills and I figured I could handle this game no problem. This was a good puzzle difficulty for me, but I do regret picking it for the combat, as you will find out. Silent Hill follows the series formula. The main gameplay can be broken into 3 parts: exploration, puzzles and combat. We will start with the exploration. The game is linear like the old games. You get the town to explore to find resources and notes, but you'll quickly realise there are a lot of dead ends. The map is just as good as it is in the other games. Doors that are locked or paths that are blocked will get marked down on the map. This will help you keep track of where you are going and where you have been. This will eventually force you down the intended path. It's fun to explore as you will normally get rewarded for going off beaten paths with rare resources. This brings us to the first big change for the series. You don't have unlimited inventory space. If you're a survival horror veteran, you're probably thinking, oh, they probably give you an item box instead. Nope, you have 10 inventory slots at the start of the game. By the end I managed to get up to 12. Items can stack up to 3 normally, so 3 bandages take up 1 slot. If you pick up a 4th, that single bandage would take up another slot. If all slots are full and you want to pick up a new item, you have to permanently delete one of your items to make room. It's very annoying, why can't you just place them on the ground? Often you will find an item you can sell for a lot of money, but you'll have to destroy a really valuable item to get it. Or you will use an item you don't really need to use, just to make room. It's not fun, it's a risk and reward system sure, but it mostly feels like punishment. Some items can also be sold at shrines. These are where you can save your game and buy upgrades. You can't sell, for lack of better terms, real world items like bandages or toolkits. You can only sell Japanese items like yokan and ramen. You won't get a lot of these items, but it's better to sell them than destroy them. Money can be used to upgrade health, stamina and sanity bars. You can also increase your charm capacity. These cost a lot and you need another rare item to even be able to buy the upgrades. You can also spend money on random charms. Charms could be useful stuff like gaining health after killing an enemy, or making perfect dodges easier. It says the charms will be random, but this seems to be a lie. I reloaded my save and got the exact same charms from it. The inventory system led to a lot of frustration for me. This system had me constantly running back and forth between shrines just to sell items. It's tedious and it kills the pacing. It also feels like it's punishing you for hoarding resources. The game throws so many items at you, so your slots get filled up quick. There's also a lot of items that do similar things, so it feels like they're technically different items, so they can take up more space. An added layer of annoyance is how you use items. You set items into 8 slots, which you can access quickly during gameplay. You can't use items from the menu. This is fine. The annoying part is that items don't disappear from the slots after they are gone. You have to go back into the menu and manually remove them or sort them out. Like why? This is so tedious. I really wasn't enjoying this system until I changed my mentality. I adopted a use it or lose it method. I still try to keep some useful items like healing, but for the rest I would just use it if I kinda needed to. The game throws so many items at you, so this mentality didn't create any issues. I was playing it like it's a traditional survival horror, and it took me way too long to realise it's not that. This can be seen in the combat. I did not enjoy this combat. It's weird, when games like Homecoming or Downpour came out, people complained about the focus on combat. Neil Bars must have heard this and thought, what if we had a perfect dodge, a counter system and a rage mode you can charge up to do massive damage? Did we not get the memo people prefer more horror than action in the Silent Hill games? In Silent Hill you can perform a light and heavy attack, dodge, and if you press it at the right time it'll become a perfect dodge. This will cost stamina, because every modern game needs a fucking stamina bar. If you play the remake of 2, this plays similar, but in they added a sanity bar, and no, this doesn't affect your sanity, it's more of a focus bar. When you hold down the focus button, you will start to charge your focus attack. Once the bar is full and you press light attack, you will hit an enemy with a powerful attack which is guaranteed to stun them. Also, whilst you are holding focus, it will be easier to see when enemies can be countered. A red circle will appear on the enemy, and you have to press the heavy attack in order to hit them. Focus is very useful, but the game doesn't do a good job at telling you this. You get a quick description when you first unlock it, and that's it. The focus attack also doesn't seem that powerful. It lands basically like any other attack. I wish it had a bit more oomph to it, so I'd want to use it more. The sandy meter also drains fast, plus when enemies grab you, it drains a lot, and certain enemies or places can drain it. It feels like it's just constantly running out. So you might use items to get it back, but just like that, it'll be gone again. There is another layer of the combat, but I have to save it for the spoiler section. The combat by itself isn't bad, there's just so much of it. If I could, I would absolutely run past enemies. It doesn't feel worth it to fight them. They don't drop anything for beating them. They only take up resources or health to beat. For a lot of the game in the other world, they don't stay dead. In the regular world, there'll always be another enemy nearby. I don't want to say they're constantly respawning enemies, but it does feel like that sometimes. In the older games, if you went for the trouble of clearing out the enemies, you'd have some breathing room to look around. It doesn't feel like this is the case here. If you hit a wall or object when swinging, this will stop the attack and make you vulnerable. This happens way too often for me. They put you in tight hallways and gives you weapons that have a massive swing for an attack, so of course you're going to hit the wall. Also, your weapons break fast and there's not a lot of them about. You can only carry 3 weapons. They come in 3 types, small, medium and large. Small do a lot of damage but break easily. Medium lasts a lot longer but don't do a lot of damage. And large weapons do a lot of damage. You can charge up a heavy attack with them, and when you use your focus you can block with them. But they also break super quickly, which feels wrong. Why does a sledgehammer break quicker than a pipe? You will come to a point where you'll ask yourselves, is it worth killing these enemies to get nothing except a destroyed weapon and less health? Luckily you can run past most enemies, but there are a lot of forced combat encounters, especially towards the end. There is this one bit in the run up to the end of the game where you have to kill 3 of the pregnant enemy in a row in order to proceed. They are also joined by every enemy in the game. It is an awful gauntlet. It's awful because of the enemies. The combat enemies seem like they were designed for one-on-one fights in mind. They work well like this. They have telegraph attacks, so you have to learn when it's safe to attack. So why does every fight after the first quarter have you fighting groups after groups of enemies? It is so frustrating. The enemy types don't synergize either. A lot of enemies can stun you. This would be fair because you can dodge these attacks, but it's hard to see them when you're fighting so many enemies. Let's take the pregnant enemy. They will keep laying eggs to make more enemies, so you have to destroy the egg before this happens. But whilst you're hitting the eggs, preggers will shoot you with acid, and she can let out a roar to stun you, meaning the eggs are gonna hatch, which is just more to deal with. Also, she never spawns alone. There will always be another enemy with her, so she can have time to lay the eggs. Then they pair her up with a monster that's a bunch of dolls attached to each other. This enemy can also stun you with a roar, so you could be getting stunned after stunned. This doll enemy also has an insta-kill attack. It will spray red flowers on the floor, and if you step in it, you're dead. But you can't see it because Preggers takes up a lot of space, and she can stun you as he's doing the insta attack, and the whole area is red flowers. No, this is just great, it's not infuriating at all. There isn't enough variety in the enemies considering how much combat the game throws at you. There's the 2 I just mentioned. There is regular enemies that look like doll women. You'll see these the most. They attack with a strange timing, and if they grab you they'll take off so much health. Next are the big blob enemies. They have a lot of health and they'll act like they're from a Dark Souls game. They'll wind up their attack so I would dodge out the way, then when they swung their attack would be magnetised to me. Oh yeah, and they can also run to stun you, because of course they can. And if you are unlucky enough to hit their blade, that stops your attack. Lastly, the fast fuckers. As you work out, they're quick. They do so many attacks in a row like they're in Bloodborne, so they'll end up wasting a lot of stamina dodging them. You can counter them on their last hit though, when you're out of stamina. It's the most aggressive enemy in the game. It won't leave you a lot of time to regain your stamina. That's it besides the bosses for enemy types. There are technically more, but they're just different versions of the ones I mentioned. I never looked forward to fighting any of these enemies. It was always, oh, not you again. These enemies will be fine on their own, but when you have 3 fast ones after you at the same time, what does the game expect you to do? I would not recommend playing on hard. I think the combat would be a lot more enjoyable on the lower difficulty, as I did start to get it more in the second half. I didn't lower the difficulty, for the same reason I haven't left work. I enjoy the pain. Now I have vented my frustration, let's talk about something I did enjoy, the puzzles. They were really good. They aren't hard enough where I had to look up a solution, but some did take me a couple of minutes to get the right answer, which is the right balance. My friend who had already beaten the game was watching me play. He got annoyed with how fast I solved some of the puzzles, because he struggled with them. There are classic Silent Hill puzzles where you have a bit of text to give you clues where to put items. I solved these pretty fast. If you have played the other Silent Hills, you'll probably get these fairly fast as well. Fortunately, the game has some more unique puzzles, like in the school. Throughout the school, you will find notes that describe the students making up their own language. You'll find locker combinations, but you'll have to translate them from the student's language. This was neat. A fun part of this is, I found a code and translated it, but the code didn't make sense. I was like, did I do something wrong? So I redid it and got the same. Then the literal next note I found was a girl saying this code is gibberish. I was like, oh great, she didn't get it either. I will say some puzzles can be brute forced or solved by accident. You've probably seen clips of the puzzles with the scarecrows. Here you'll get a short description and you'll have to match the correct scarecrow to it. Every time you pick the wrong one, that scarecrow will come alive to attack you. You can absolutely be quick enough to try all the scarecrows before you die. Even if you do die, it will be the same scarecrow, so you didn't really have to solve anything. Or take the bit with the puzzle box. You get a piece of text that talks about sounding like fruit. Then you have to cover all the non-fruit on the puzzle box. For the last box you have to cover the correct flowers. But I couldn't tell you what the flowers were because they are Japanese flowers, so I kind of just managed to guess the right answer. If they had a poster on the wall of the flowers, this could have helped a lot. I like in this game all relevant notes and clues are kept in the puzzle section of the journal. It doesn't do that thing where the important info is highlighted, which is nice. You actually have to figure out what is the important part of the notes. It's nice that they are kept in this section of the journal so you don't have to waste your time looking through all your notes that won't be relevant. I should probably talk about the journal. Hinako will fill the journal throughout the game. When you meet a new character or go to a new place, she'll write about it. You can learn about her backstory of characters or how she's feeling about them. She'll also tell you her thoughts about the monsters. When people are new to her, like, this monster represents James's fear of toilets clearly. I used to be like, how did you get that? And everyone just agrees James is afraid of toilets now because they all watch the same video. Here the main character is telling you, and it will help you understand the story better. It will clue you into what is actually going on. If you only ever watch the cutscenes, you'll be very confused. Seriously, read the journal. You have no idea what's happening otherwise. Side note, if you want the best experience, make sure you're on performance mode, because this game gets stuttery towards the end, which is a shame because this game is gorgeous. This is the best looking Silent Hill to date graphically. I prefer the PS2 graphics, but I'm a sucker for those. The game's use of lighting is fantastic. Areas look dark and ominous. The town looks realistic. The fog looks great, you can't see shit, which is what you want from a Silent Hill game. Characters look realistic and monsters have a great creepy design, which you can definitely get some meaning from, like how Hinako sees men with the blob monsters. The art direction didn't win me over though. The red flower theme didn't do anything for me. It can look pretty but not scary or creepy. It's not like the rusted world from the other games. The other world didn't really land for me either. It's a Japanese shrine area, which didn't do a lot for me. Maybe it just didn't click the same way for me as a Westerner. It looks great but didn't creep me out at all, like the rusted hellscapes of the old game. It looks great but it's just a dark shrine for the most part. Audio wise I like the soundtrack, it feels Silent Hill-y. It doesn't sound like typical instruments and builds dread up nicely. It's obviously got a Japanese flavour to it which suits the game well. Yeah, I liked it. Voice acting is good as well. You can either have English or Japanese. I played in English and they did a decent job. The Japanese is better, don't get me wrong. Annoyingly, the English vocals aren't lip sync and can look way off, which can be distracting. Hinako's voice actor does a great job. She has a lot of emotions she needs to convey throughout the game and I thought she nailed it. Speaking of Hinako, it's time for the story. I'm going to start with non-spoilers. I really liked the story by the time the credits rolled, but I don't think I was enjoying it early on. It starts out confusing and stays that way for a bit too long for me. With the other Silent Hills, you get an objective, you'll always have that to fall back on. Like find my daughter, or find my wife. This counts for both worlds. In it doesn't feel like we had that. Escape the town is your main objective, but that's not much of a hook for me. In the other world, I could guess what was being represented, but I couldn't tell you what was going on until way later in the game. Hinako acts like a typical Silent Hill protagonist. She does not ask enough questions about what's going on. When she first goes to the other world, a guy in a fox mask is there. She does not go, why are you wearing a fox mask? Who the fuck are you? This makes sense looking back at it, but you'll definitely be confused your first time through. I feel like there is a bit of confusion with the story because of the culture difference. I'll go into it more in the spoiler section, but for now it doesn't seem like you can fully get the story unless you understand Japanese culture, especially in the 60s. Or like the fox mask. I was waiting for an explanation about why foxes, but it never comes. I'm sure a Japanese person would see us and go, ah, the fox represents this god and that. Meanwhile, I'm over here going, why are we leaning so hard into foxes? Is it because they're cunning? That's what foxes mean to me as a Westerner. Hinako's got a small friend group, Shu, the kind of weird one giving her homemade pills, Rinko, who's jealous of everything, and Sakuko, who's gone before you even know her. The first hour of the game builds dread well. You leave your house after hinting that Hinako's father is abusive. You then descend into the town similar to the start of Silent Hill 2. There is nobody about. There are notes to find to help you understand what type of town this is. You meet Sakuko, who says she will meet you in a bit and mutters "you traitor" as you leave. This creates a bit of intrigue. You then meet up with your friend group. First is Shu. They have an awkward conversation. Shu says he will always be there for her no matter what she chooses. You should piece together that Hinako has done something her friends don't like. He then passes her some pills. Rinko and Sakuko then show up. As they are chatting, the fog rolls in and Sakuko is killed by red flowers appearing on her face. The rest are forced to run and the game kicks off. I'm not a big fan of this death right away. We don't know these characters, so it didn't really mean anything to me. If you read the journal beforehand, you find out Sakuko owed Hinako money, and that's about it for her character. I would rather we got to know the characters a bit first. Let's talk about the characters. We'll leave Hinako for the spoiler section. Shu is her best friend. They used to play Space Wars together when they were younger. This is where they started calling each other partner. Rinko finds this weird because it's not very girly. I find it weird because both are about 15 and still calling each other this. Grow the fuck up. Shu wants to be a pharmacist when he's older, so he's practicing by making pills for Hinako for her headaches. These pills are used as healing items. This is a red flag. Who the hell takes pills for a 15-year-old that he made? This isn't normal. I don't care if the journal tells me it is. Rinko's main thing is she's jealous. She has a crush on Shu, who doesn't like her like that. She thinks Shu has a crush on Hinako because they spent so much time together. Hinako doesn't like Shu like that. This is Rinko's whole character, she's just shit-stirring. Then there's Hinako's family, who you don't see much of but play a big part in understanding Hinako. Her father is abusive to her mother, the mother won't stand up for herself, Hinako's sister Junko used to keep everyone calm, but got married and moved out. Hers is the only page in the journal where her face is scratched out. Lastly, there is Fox Mask. He is very mysterious. He only appears in the other world. He has magic powers, which when I first saw I thought, oh, this doesn't fit the rest of the series, but we'll have to see where it goes. I think I've talked about the game as much as I can without spoiling it, so it's time to go into spoilers. Go to this time code to skip. I'm not going to go through the story scene by scene, just parts I want to talk about. Let's start with the combat spoiler I mentioned earlier. About halfway into the story, in the other world, Hinako cuts off her arm and replaces it with a fox one. Yes, it's as weird as it sounds. This arm becomes your main weapon for the other world. It's quick and powerful and is easily the most fun I had with the combat. After you kill enough monsters with it, your rage meter will charge. Use it and you'll become invincible and do high damage attacks. If it sounds like something from God of War, that's because it is. This is where I finally accepted I was playing the game wrong. It's not a survival horror, it's an action horror. I enjoyed the game a lot more once I accepted this. I want to mention my favourite levels, the school and Hinako's house. These felt the most Silent Hilly. The school has a good layout and fun puzzles. It also has a creepy vibe with a doll enemy that moves when you're not looking. I will say the reason for going to the school is ridiculous. The gang needs a key from the school to open a gate. The gate in question is chest high, just climb over it. Make the gate look bigger, this was stupid. Hinako's house was my favourite part of the game. This is towards the end of the game, so it's kind of like nowhere from the first game. The layout doesn't make any logical sense. It's a small house on the outside, but it's way bigger once you're in it. Rooms can connect to each other strangely. There will be a hallway that's super long that couldn't fit in the house. Or a room has a giant head in it like in Silent Hill 4. Then you go out the exit and arrive at the entrance. It's a really cool level. Then you could go into that represents this is how Hinako sees her home. It's a great level. I can finally explain the other world, or at least what I think it is. The other world represents marriage. The shrine you explore is like our version of churches. Hinako is getting married to the Fox Mass. This is why you have to do what he says and perform the rituals, like you do when you get married. They are so messed up like cutting off your own arm or being branded. This is how Hinako sees marriage. She's going to be owned and handicapped by it. She probably thinks this because of how she views her parents' marriage. Her mother is clearly not happy and Hinako didn't want that for herself. We're going to have to go into the story a bit to explain this more. I just want to say I've only played through this game once, as a write-in. I wanted to give my views without seeing the other endings and other people's videos on the game. So this is how I interpreted what's going on. I don't think I got 100% of what's going on, but here's what I got. Whilst in Hinako's house, we find out her father has lost her job and is in a lot of debt. He has decided to sell Hinako into marriage. This is what Fox Master is representing. She doesn't want to go through with it, but she has no choice, just like in the other world. This is why there are two Hinakos. One is what she will become if she gets married, the other world her. The normal world her is her before she gets married. I didn't really get how the school friends tie into this. Rinko is jealous of her because Shu likes her, but she's not marrying Shu. So what's the point of this jealousy? She keeps calling her a traitor, and that Hinako is dead. Which I didn't really get till my friend who was watching me play kind of explained it. He said back in those days, when you got married in Japan, you wouldn't see your friends anymore, and you'd be stuck in the house. So this is why they're calling you a traitor, and you're dead. because you're basically going to be dead to them. We're still displaying the jealousy thing. That didn't really go anywhere. The school friends also get dropped from the story about halfway through, which I didn't like. It seems like they're in the first half a lot just to throw you off how important they are. Hinako kills them off when they're in the other world in brutal ways, like burning Rinko alive. I get this is her shutting herself off from them because she's getting married. They just don't seem to tie into the marriage plot. Maybe besides Shu. Those pills he's given her are the only real connection I've found to the other Silent Hill games. You find out they are made from a white flower and the pills are red. My immediate thoughts were White Claudia and the red liquid from the other games. So putting that together, I assumed these pills are not helping her and probably making her go loopy, which I was kind of right about. I also thought for a bit the Fox Mask trying to birth a new god, so you win some and you lose some. Why would Shu give her these pills? It could be an accident, maybe he didn't know what was in them, or maybe he was jealous that she was getting married and tried to ruin it. Then there is the sister, Junko, which I still don't get. She's in the other world, she has an owl mask, ? She really wants you to go through with the marriage, I don't know why. Maybe because she got married and is really happy, or she wants their father to get out of debt. Maybe she got married to an owl instead of a fox? This brings us to the ending I got. It's vague, but I think I got it. Hinako loses her mind at the wedding. This is what the game has been about. Can she go through with it or not? She cracks and kills people at the wedding. It's a cool ending and does explain what's been going on throughout the game. If it wasn't for the last cutscene though, I wouldn't have got it. It's not super satisfying, though I know there are other endings and apparently you have to play the game 3 times to get the best one, which I'm not a fan of. 2 times maybe, but 3 is too much. This does lead to more questions. In this cutscene we find out Hinako is in her 20s. So why is she a schoolgirl for most of the game? Maybe because this is when she was last happy, or before she got the news she was getting married? I really don't know, it seems like they wanted a schoolgirl to be the protagonist for the marketing. I think this ending also means the game takes place in her head, which I'm not a huge fan of. You could say a lot of Silent Hill games take place in the character's head, but at least the town is real, they did go somewhere and meet real people. Hopefully the other endings can explain this better. I think I got most of what's going on from just the first playthrough. Ultimately I have mixed feelings about Silent Hill. The story, puzzles and world are both great. Japanese shake-up was refreshing, even if it left me confused sometimes. On the other hand, the gameplay can be incredibly frustrating. Too much force combat. If you're a Silent Hill fan or just a horror fan, this game doesn't disappoint. Just don't play it on harder difficulties, it's way less enjoyable. Time to rank it. I'm feeling number 30. Silent Hill is like Manhunt. Great story, irritating gameplay. But it's got ambition and that counts for something. But I think story is putting it above Manhunt. I don't think I can put it above A Short Hike. That game is just pure fun from start to finish, even if it's taking bigger swings. New number 30. And now if you excuse me, I'm going to go cancel my marriage.